So, hi everyone, welcome back. Or if you're new here, just welcome. Hi to all my new subscribers. There are a few of you. I had a little bit of an influx yesterday, so I'm assuming that I got a shout out somewhere. Actually, I know I got at least one mention because Crafty Rogue Gamer, I got about 10 or 15 minutes into your video, so I haven't watched it yet, so I will drop by and say hi in the comments when I finish it. But yeah, thanks for the mention, and I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed going through my old videos. Because that took some effort. We're on 55 now? Something like that. And we know that I love to talk. So anyway, if you're new here, this is just my own little corner of the world where I geek out about cross stitch and just geek out in general, and Lexi weasels her way in. This is Lexi. She's my rescue baby. We're coming up on a gotcha day soon. I'll talk more about that when it gets closer. Good girl. And yes, I know I need to replace her collar. I actually do have a new one, but I've just been lazy about getting around to it. So, are you gonna go investigate now? Preferably not on me. So anyway, this is kind of par for the course also, because she seems to want attention when I most can't give it. Anyway, I have a few updates for you. It wasn't a horribly super stitchy week, but I wasn't a slouch either. I mean, I'd say it was probably a medium week. Have a little bit of stash and a little bit of ready watchy update and some life update stuff. So we'll go ahead and jump right in with the whips. You'll remember this week I decided to go ahead and do the magical stitches prompts, and so the first one was something that had at least 2 animals in it, and I decided to work on Tiny Modernist Zodiac Stitch Along because it has the fish, the ram, and a bull. So thankfully the rule is it has to be somewhere in the pattern. It doesn't have to be what you're working on, because I'm still on January, which is Aquarius. And the last time that I showed it off, I think it looked something like this. And 500 stitches later, I've got quite a bit done. I am almost done with Aquarius now. And here we are. So you can see she's totally done, except there's one back stitch across that is her eye. I've got all of the rest of the back stitching done, so I just have the jar and the rest of the water to do. So yeah, I love this one, and I don't get to work on it nearly as much as I would like to, just because of the way that things work and trying to get the 6 other gifts done. 6.5, because I've still got that one that I'm not sure about. But so yeah, I don't get to work on this one as much as I'd like to, so when the prompts gave me an opening to work on it, I decided to pick it up, because I think these colors are just gorgeous. I love the color choices with this. And then the happy accident of the fabric that I ordered that is not what I thought it was, but actually turned out to be just perfect anyway. So yeah, there's Aquarius, Tiny Modernist Zodiac Stitch Along. I'm going to save the other prompt until the end, and you'll see why when I do. So I got both of my prompts done, and then I had time to do some fun stitching. And so I decided to work a little bit on a couple of the gifts that I had. And of course, one of the ones I picked to work on was, surprise, surprise, Sebastian. I didn't do a lot on this one, but the reason that I picked this is the extra credit for magical stitches. I've mentioned before they're in 500, 1,000, and 1,500 blocks, and I think I'm going to do this month Sebastian's going to be my 1500. And then Defying Gravity is going to be my 1000 because that one stitches up super fast. There's going to be just huge blocks of just solid black in it from this point forward. So yeah, it'll go really fast. And then Cinderella, I think, is going to be my 500. So, and you're going to see 2 of those because I got to work on them. So as I said, the first one was Sebastian. And here's where I'm at. And I'll try not to hold this one up too long because it always seems to be my thumbnail, and then everybody thinks that I talk about the same one all the time. They're not wrong, but I don't only talk about Sebastian. So what you can see, I filled in the white down here is extended. I also filled in this bit of the darker flesh tone because this white is actually skin as well. So this darker skin tone, and then I've moved the black down a little bit. I'm over 25% done with this one at this point. And as I said, the bottom of page 1 is like right here and right here. So you can see that page 1 is the biggest of the 3. So once I get done with that one, the other 3 pages are going to go pretty quickly. Page 2 also going to have a lot of black in it. Actually, I think page 3 will too, because I think you get a bit of his shoulders in. But yay! Mercifully short this week. And then the next one I worked on was Cinderella. And this one is also a gift. The fun thing about this one, the way that it's stitching up, is I will be able to continue posting this one on Instagram for a while, which won't be the case with Sebastian because he is already clearly recognizable as what he is, and as soon as the person who is going to be getting that for Christmas saw it, they would know that that was the one I was working on for them. They know I'm doing something for them. I've told them they have to stay off my floss tube so that I have some place to talk about it. But this one, I think I will be able to post on Instagram for a good long time before anyone can clearly recognize it for what it is. And I'm not sure this person even knows that I'm working on something for them. So, but anyway, this is the Cinderella, and here is where I'm at. And so you can see it's just a lot of, this one is going to take an awful long time to stitch. It was probably ambitious to think that I could do this for a Christmas present with a deadline, because this is one of the largest clusters of a single color that I've seen. So you're constantly switching. I mean, there'll be points where there's only 3 stitches in a single color. It's going to be confetti hell all the way through. Yeah, I might have bitten off quite a bit with this one. I really don't know what to say about that one yet. It's still early. I haven't decided how I feel about it. It is on linen, which is a pain in the butt because you folks remember the Otlite I was so excited about? Yeah, I had it less than 3 weeks and it broke. So now I'm back to really crappy lighting in my craft room, and seeing 32 count linen is hard. But I'm not replacing the Otlite because it turns out I read a lot of reviews, and that particular model, the problem that I had with it is super common, so not gonna do that anymore. And I just realized, I said I was gonna post a before pic of Aquarius, and I never did one for Cinderella or Sebastian. I usually don't post progress pics. I mean, let me know if you would find those useful, but I don't really think that how much progress I made in a given week is, well, I don't know. I guess maybe it would make a difference to see how far I got in a given week, other than to just see it kind of taking shape. But it's never been important to me, so I've never done it. So if that's something you'd like to see, let me know. One little comment, in case you're wondering, I know a lot of people put like their pattern pictures or their progress pictures and stuff up in the corner. For some reason, I must have a really old version of iMovie. My laptop's ancient. and I'm afraid it's about to die, and then there's going to be zero editing on my Flosstube videos because I'll be doing everything on my phone and my iPad. But because when I look up the instructions on how to do that on iMovie, like the commands that I'm supposed to use aren't even in my menu. So I will just continue doing the photo inserts. Sorry if that's annoying, but that's what my iMovie will let me do. Okay, tangent. Back on track. So the last one, the other Magical Stitches prompt that I did also ended up being a finish. 2 weeks in a row, I have a finish. Don't get used to it. It's not going to happen again for a long time. But I got really close and decided that that's why Defying Gravity didn't get worked on this week, because I got really close and this was what I wanted to do. So this is paw prints, and if you'll remember, this is the one that was kind of like the important project to get done now because graduation is next month, and this is a graduation gift for a young friend. And it's done! So here we go. This is on 16 Count Galaxy by Mystic Fabrics, by the way. It's done completely in B5200. And you can kind of see the names in there. They were very hard to get on those paw prints because that is not a lot of space. And I'm not thrilled with the font I got, but hey, it works. And they are readable, kind of readable. When I first got done writing Sunny, I was like, what does that say? The more I look at it, the more I know what it says. I really hope that it's obvious to someone who doesn't know what it's supposed to say, what it says. But it's done, and I think it looks gorgeous, other than the fact that I'm a little unhappy with the font. So I really hope she likes it. I really do. But yeah, this is what she wanted, something to do with pets and bonus points for including the names of her pets on it. But done! Although I'm really going to miss working on this fabric. I think it's gorgeous. And I have half of this piece. I cut it in half and I saved the other half for a project for me later because, I mean, really, look at this. It's gorgeous. Just the way those colors bleed into one another. So yes, 2 weeks in a row finish. Yay! Nothing else is even close. Probably the next closest thing would be Flamingo All the Way. Maybe. I don't know. My first priority, I guess we'll just go ahead and segue right into future plans. My first priority this week is going to be the stitching extra credit for Magical Stitches. So that'll be Cinderella, Defying Gravity, and Sebastian. Because I don't like the, it's not that I don't have anything to fit the Magical Stitches prompts this week, and I don't feel like doing penalty stitches. Even though my penalty whip is one of the projects that I really need to work on because it's another gift. But the prompts, there are 2 of them, they're 500 stitches each, and the first one is something that has the number 2 and the number 3 in it. And I'm trying to remember, I do have a sampler somewhere, so it may have the numerals on it. I don't know. But I don't feel like dragging it out. Because that's another one that's dangerous, and if I pull it out, I'll want to work on it a ton, and I will ignore the other ones that need to get done, because eventually I'm going to work myself out of gifts, and I'm going to have to work on Grimm's. So then I'll have to work on Grimm's, because it is also a gift. Yeah, I'm not doing the Magical Stitches prompts. I'm going to focus on the extra credit. If I get that done, I have like 500 stitches done on Sebastian and 100 on Cinderella. So to get that done, I'd have to do about 2,400 stitches this weekend. And I don't even know if I'm going to do a video next week. From this point on until the end of May, I can't promise a video every week. We are getting into crazy time for dance. I have 2 showcases, one at the beginning of May and one at the end of May, so my Saturdays are going to be a little bit more intense with dance, which is when I get a lot of my stitching done. I have, my birthday is coming up this weekend, and so I have a friend who is going to come over and we're going to anime binge. So I probably won't get a lot of stitching done this weekend. And yeah, there's just gonna be a lot coming up in the next few weeks. At some point I'm gonna have to try to get up and see my dad, and I don't know, it's all gonna be crazy. So I'm not going to promise any videos during the next few weeks. Well, I'm fairly certain I will have one not this coming week, but the week after, because next weekend, which is what, the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, somewhere in there, whatever that Friday, Saturday, Sunday is, it's 24 hours of cross stitch. I already know I'm going to be at the dance studio for at least, let's see, I've got 2 hours of rehearsal, and then I've got a 2-hour break before my private lesson. So I'm going to miss most of Saturday, but I'm going to try between Friday and Sunday to get in the full 24. So, and maybe I'll take my stitching, because I'm going to have that 2-hour break between. I don't know. I don't need to think out loud. You folks don't need to hear this. One other thing I am thinking of doing on plans is Stitches by Shelby, which if you aren't watching her, you should go over and check her out. She was the person that I passed the Traveling Humbug on to. She's got a really fun channel. I like a lot of the stuff that she's working on. But one thing she's thinking of doing, she is also an April baby, like I am. And I was toying with the idea of doing something for my birthday. And then she said she was definitely going to do something for her birthday. So it was going to be kind of and we don't have a hashtag for it yet or whatever, but do a start you've been dying to start. So I think that I might join along with her in that at the end of the month. And I will talk about that project when I get to haul, which is right here. So haul this week. I don't have a lot. I won't have a lot for the next little bit until my back orders start coming in. But my fabric of the month from Mystic came. So this is, and if you don't have your fabric from Mystic yet and you don't want to be spoiled, you might want to skip ahead. This is Chinchilla. I got 2 beautiful grays this month. This one is a little bit less blue, although now that I say that, it's kind of blue, but it's more of a slate blue, where Through the Stones was more of a purpley blue gray. So at any rate, another beautiful gray. I talked last week way too much about my love of gray as a neutral. So I was thrilled when I got 2 in the same month. So, Chinchilla, love it. Next up, I ordered a couple of patterns. The first one I just saw on Instagram and I thought it was cute. And at this point, I am going to turn the ring light off so that hopefully we won't get the glare off the front of the iPad. So the first one, like I said, this was one that I just saw on, I would assume it was a she, but maybe not. They had posted on Instagram. This is from Lola Crow Cross Stitch. And I just thought it was really fun. So it's a dragon, and you can still see the ring light. Well, I'm sorry. It's a knight and a dragon, but instead of a sword, I don't know if you can see that, he is holding a marshmallow on a stick. And I think that the caption was something like, why have a sword fight when you can have s'mores? And I kind of agree with that. So I ordered that one. I don't know when I will get to working on it. But it looks fun. It looks like a quick, simple stitch, and I like it, so I got it. And then the next one is one that I've had my eye on for a while, and this is the one that if I do Stitches by Shelby's birthday stitch along, it's the one that I will be doing. And this is from Oh My Stitches shop. And let me get that in there. It's just one more chapter. I just think this is gorgeous, and I love it, and I love the sentiment behind it. And so I've had it in my wish list for a while, and I didn't buy it because I knew that the second that I did, I'd have a new start. So I'm thinking I will start that one at the end of the month. For fabric choices, I was thinking through the stones, but I will have to do a floss toss on these grays to see if that is, to see how well that would contrast, because I don't want to wash those mountains out. So I'll do a floss toss on that and maybe chinchilla. But my other thought was maybe Aurora or one of any of a million other ones that I have. I have a piece of Unipoo Lugana that might work. I have a piece of, what else do I have? I can't use the pearl because I'm going to use that for Mania. There's other stuff in my stash that will work. So that was my haul this week. That's my future plans, kind of all mishmashed together. And so if that is what you're here for, then thank you so much for watching. Let me get the ring light back on. Have a great week. If you like hearing me babble about books and television and my life in general, you can stick around. I didn't get a lot done watching and reading wise. I am working my way through D-Day Girls still. It's fascinating. I really am enjoying it. I think I would enjoy it more if I had gotten it as a paper book, because it is read by the author, and she's not a professional narrator. And so I find some of her quirks distracting. But the story is great. So yes, D-Day Girls so far, highly recommend. I got through chapters 20 and 21 of Blue Exorcist. This is getting ready to go back to, the library just now. When I was posting this to Magical Stitches, one of the things that we have to do is we have to talk about a plot point or something of what our favorite part of the book was. And as I quoted for this chapter in particular, I said, there is no favorite, there is only pain. Things are really coming to a head, and some very upsetting things happened to some of my favorite characters. And I immediately went and put the next 3 volumes in my cart at the library. I am getting to the end of Blue Exorcist. Not the end of, like, I've been looking and I don't think the manga has ended. I think the last published volume is volume 26, and my library only has through volume 24. So the 3 that I have right now are the last 3 my library has. So then it will be like Yona, where I'm just waiting for them to come out and waiting for my library to order them, which is frustrating because they come out a lot earlier than my library orders them. I don't need to buy them, I don't need to buy them, I don't need to buy them, because then I'd have to go back and buy the entire series. So yeah, those are the only things I really got done reading wise. I spent a lot of time in fanfic. One thing that I did, my OutLight went out and I was frustrated last night. I got online and I ordered one of those little LED neck reading lights. mostly to use for stitching, but I think it might also be cool to like be able to use for reading. Because one of the reasons I don't get as much reading done is I liked to read in bed before I go to sleep, and I don't have a desk side lamp in that room, so I've been reading on my iPad. And I mean, I could get ebooks from the library, but it's just not the same. So I don't know. That's all my reading. Watching, I really only did a lot of watching on Friday night. I had kind of a true crime marathon. The first thing I watched, they were both Netflix limited series. The first one was Murder Among the Mormons. And it was about a series of bombings that happened in Salt Lake City in the 80s and their ties to forged historical documents. So that was interesting. I'd already heard the story before. There was a Forensic Files episode about it a long time ago, and Forensic Files is what I put on in the background when I don't want to think. So that I'd heard the story before, but there's a big difference between a 30-minute episode of Forensic Files and a 4-part documentary. So there was a lot of detail in there that I'd never heard before, and it was interesting. And then the other one that I really liked was This Is a Robbery, and that was about the robbery of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston, which I think is still to date the largest art heist in history. The paintings were at the time in 1990, well, it wasn't just paintings, it was other artistic, other objects of art. But at the time in the 90s, the lost art was valued at $200 million. So it was kind of a huge thing. And the way it went down was really weird, and it's never been solved. So that one was really interesting too. It went down quite the rabbit hole that I did not expect to go down, but it was very interesting. And that's really all I got done. For this week, I have 3 volumes of Black Butler waiting for me at the library. I think I might finish D-Day Girls. And then when I do, I'm going to pick up The Enchantress, which is the last book in the Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel series, and I'll start that one. Either that one or there was another one that I was going to pick up. Oh, The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb has been recommended to me as well, and I have meant to start that one. So one of those 2 will probably be my next one. And anime, I don't know what we're going to watch. I think part of it depends on if they haven't seen the last half of Yona of the Dawn, because if they haven't yet, they've got no choice. That's what we're watching. But otherwise, there are a few things that I would like to start watching. And we talked about watching a few things that are kind of like different than what we normally do, just for some fun. So, I don't know. But anyway, that's all I've got for you this week. And I'm coming in right at about 30 minutes, so that'll be sweet. It'll be different by the time I intersperse all of the photos and stuff, because they're about 4 seconds each. And there was no barking, so whatever my neighbor was doing is either done or Lexi lost interest, so I'm super thankful for that. Anyway, that's all I have for you, so I guess we'll go ahead and I will see you maybe next week, definitely in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, if you like what you see, hit subscribe, drop a note down below, hit like, whatever you want to do to let me know that you're there. I'm a little behind on my Flosstube watching, so if I normally leave you a note and I haven't yet, I'm getting there. I will get there. That's why, because life update. I had a little incident. About 6 years ago, I had a pulmonary embolism, and I almost died. And I have a history of one of the lovely things I inherited from my grandmother was her poor circulatory system. And so I occasionally get what is technically called superficial thrombophlebitis, which basically just means blood clots in the surface veins, usually on the legs. Mine are on the legs. I haven't had them in a long time. The last time I had them was right before I had the embolism. That's not a super common thing, and I know that. And when I had the embolism, I knew that something additional was going on, and I had actually gone to my doctor, and he was like, "Why are you here? You know how to handle these." And I said, "Something's different this time." And I'll never forget, and he got downright patronizing with me. Like, he said, "Okay, well, if you're nervous, then I will send you for this blood test, and this blood test basically determines whether or not you've got excessive coagulation factor in your blood, or some protein that signals excessive coagulation. And it can be indicative of blood clots, but not always." He said, "I will go ahead and send you for this blood work just to ease your mind." And he patted my knee and goes, "And the blood work will come back and it'll be negative, and you'll know that everything is fine." Well, the blood work was not negative. The blood work came back positive, and that still didn't, so he kind of had to eat his words there, and he sent me for an ultrasound. The ultrasound did not find anything. So I don't think there was anything there right at that point. But at this point, I was so convinced that my doctor thought I was a hypochondriac that when I started having a hard time breathing 3 days later, I wrote it off. It was like, "It's just me panicking. It's fine. It's just me panicking. It's just nothing." And then finally, one of the supervisors at my job, my boss was gone for the day, so I went in to check out with someone else and said, "I'm not feeling well. I'm going to leave a little early." And she's like, "You're white as a sheet. What's going on?" And so I told her, and long story short, she convinced me to go to the hospital, and I was in intensive care for 3 days. But I don't know why I told that story. Sorry. So I told you all that to say that the last time I had this condition, it didn't go down well. So I got nervous. And last weekend while I was at my dad's, I started to feel the telltale signs of this occurring again. And so my dad had actually wanted me to go this week down to North Carolina to see my brother and sister-in-law and my niece and nephew, the ones I don't get to see very often. And at the last minute, I decided I can't do it. We know that when I had problems with my legs before, and then I went and traveled and did a lot of excessive riding in the car, that was what part of the perfect storm that triggered my embolism. There were several factors, but yeah, so all week I was having problems with my leg, and by Friday afternoon, I went in to do a little overtime. It's normally my day off, and on my way there, I woke up that morning with pain deep in the back of my calf, which can be a symptom of deep vein thrombosis, which can be a precursor to an embolism. And I've already explained a lot more than I really needed to or should have, and I'm sorry if you're listening to me babble and you don't care. So if you want to look up more on DVT and PE, be my guest. If you want to know more from me, send me a message on Instagram. That's fine. I'd be happy to talk about it. But so I got that, and then towards the afternoon, as I was heading into work to do my overtime, I started getting pain in my chest. And that's a symptom of an embolism. However, that's also a symptom of panicking over an embolism. It's a symptom of heartburn. It's a symptom of a lot of things. But anyway, I got to work, and in the hour I was there, I made a huge mistake, and I started feeling progressively worse, and just decided that I was going to call it a day. and I spent a lot of the weekend I realized when I woke up, I took a nap when I got home Friday, and I realized when I woke up that one of the problems had been I had literally been hunched over like this all week between a lot of stuff that I was doing at work and between stitching and everything. I'd literally been hunched over, and I think that pain in my chest was the muscles. So I tried not to spend a lot of time stitching this weekend. I said all that to say that I tried not to spend a lot of time stitching this weekend. I forgot what even got me into this story. Oh, yeah, that's why I didn't get a lot of watching done, because I didn't do a lot of stitching. I had done all my stitching, most of it previously during the week. Wow, that was way too much to end this with. But yeah, that's my life update. I wasn't feeling well. TLDR, I wasn't feeling well. I feel better, mostly. But that's also put me in kind of a crunch because I have company coming this weekend and I need to clean. So yeah, probably not a lot of stitchy done this week. Probably not a lot of actual reading. Probably what's going to get done is Flosstube and audiobook in the background. And with that, now that I've talked way too much, how much way too much? Yeah, almost 10 minutes of babbling. I'm going to go ahead and for reals let you go this time. Have a great week, and whether I see you this coming week or the week after, I hope you all stay safe and stay healthy. See you next time. Bye.